Live with CDP, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast live on YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, and Anchor FM. Now here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to this Live with CDP podcast, Season 4, Episode 5 tonight. This would be, I think, my 170th episode, and I'm looking forward to my guest tonight. She's from Buffalo. She's funny. She likes lacrosse, and her last name is Brady, so maybe she's related to Tom Brady. I don't know if that'd be a good idea in Buffalo, but I'm looking forward to my guest tonight. Guys, I'm not a comedian, by the way. I can try, but I'm looking forward to my guest tonight from the Buffalo area. Her name is Allie Brady, and she's a stand-up comedian and reporter for Late Night Buffalo, and she's also the Buffalo Bandits in-arena host at the KeyBank Center. And I missed her this year. I went to a game on April 30th, but I was up in the press box and media box. But anyways, guys, I'm looking forward to speaking to Allie about her career, about stand-up comedy, being a reporter for Late Night Buffalo, and also talk about a little bit about the National Lacrosse League as well. And of course, when you talk Buffalo, you got to talk chicken wings, and you got to talk about those Buffalo Bills. So 1 second, guys, I'm going to bring on Allie Brady. Hey, how are you?
Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm all good. I was trying to be funny. I'm not a funny guy.
No, you're good. You're good. It's you know what's a lot of people ask about Brady as a last name, but it's the new Smith. It's like everyone has this last name, but alas, not good in this town now.
I was gonna say, what's it like having that last name Brady in Buffalo?
A lot of boos when you're at a game, and I don't take it personally. I realize it's not me. But you know what? When I spell my name, sometimes, like if I was on the phone with someone and they would say, like, how do you spell your last name? I would say Brady, like the Brady Bunch, but now that means nothing. And I say Brady, like Tom Brady. So I feel so bad, but
yes, he's tormented the Buffalo Bills and the fans for many, many years.
You know, well, good luck in Tampa, bro. You know, yeah, you know.
I was actually at his first NFL game in July 31st, 2000 in Canton, Ohio. And you know what I remember most about that game? As I ended up having food poisoning, and my friend dragged me to the game, and I was sick the entire night.
I don't mean to laugh, but like,
yeah.
Wow.
I still have the ticket stub, and I had somebody offer me $400 for it, and then he had to unretire, so now it's worthless again.
Give it 2 more seasons or something, right? Is that how much he has left? 2 more seasons, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, who knows with him? He doesn't seem to know to make up his mind or whatever. So
yeah, I'm just glad he's not in the Bills division anymore. So he can do whatever he wants as long as
I don't even think they play the Bills this year either.
Oh yeah, no, it's great. I'm happy.
That's a good thing. Hey, I was gonna say, how was your July 4th? Happy Independence Day, by the way.
Oh, we won't get into politics, but it was a very low key, and it was a weird year this year. Happy belated Canada Day.
Thank you.
Yes, you guys start the celebrations off first. What a smart thing to do. Just go July 1.
1st.
Do you guys have like mattress sales and stuff for Canada Day? Like any crazy?
No.
Okay.
They used to long time ago, but not now.
Oh, okay. See, that's maybe an American thing. We're like, buy mattresses, and so.
Everything keeps going up here. The only good thing about Canada Day, the gas prices actually went down 10 cents a liter.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So now we're only paying $7.50 a gallon.
And that's Canadian, right? $7.50.
Yeah, we do our liters. Our gas is in liters. So right now it's around $1.80 a liter, which works out to be about, I don't know, guess $7.50, $7.70 a gallon. So we're paying probably about $3 a gallon more than you guys are.
Do people then come to the States for gas, or is that?
It depends. Like I'm too far away for me to make it worth my while, but I think people in St. Catharines and Niagara Falls, I would. If I was living near the falls, St. Catharines, I definitely would be.
St. Catharines or Hamilton, probably.
Yes. Yeah, Hamilton's only about an hour, not even that from them to Lewiston, but yeah, everything keeps going up here, but the salaries don't.
I know. It'll something will work out of it. It's right, ebbs and flows, so we'll hopefully be under $7 soon. That's wild. Oh.
Yes, definitely. We get out of this pandemic, and then the gas companies have decided to screw us, literally, all of us.
Yeah, and then not be able to find any cars to put the gas in. So that's
Yeah.
do you guys have that problem in Canada where they're not the supply chain where there's no cars available?
Yeah, actually, I bought a new car. Actually, I bought a new car in February,
Oh,
but
congratulations.
it's not gonna be here until October because of the chip shortage.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So I bought a Chevy Trailblazer, so I'm hoping I'll be around in October when it shows up.
Yeah, and those are apparently really good on gas. Just kidding.
Yes.
Uh,
No, actually, it is, and they're comfortable too.
oh, good.
It's a bit of a car SUV combo, but the first thing I asked when I went into the vehicle, I said, "Is it good on gas?" And then I test drove it. And I'm like, "Okay, this is good." That's one of my main criterias right there.
Excellent. Look at us. Now you're a car podcast. We're just talking.
Apparently. So I usually keep my cars about 10 or 11 years. So this is only going to be my fourth vehicle in my life.
Oops, dog. Sorry, a dog.
Oh,
Start barking. There we go. Okay.
no, that's okay. What's your dog's name and breed?
I have two dogs. I can pick one up if you want to see it. Is that
Yes, that's
okay?
cool.
This is my grumpy. I have two French bulldogs.
Cool.
This is. I'm a big fan of sports. This is Hat-Trick, like
Nice name.
goals. Yep. Hey, bud.
Yes.
And then Hobo is the other one who just barks
Oh,
at everything. But yeah,
cool.
big dog fan.
Yeah, I miss my dog. He passed away a couple years ago from oral cancer. His name was Riley. He was 15 and a half years old. So eventually I will get a dog again. Yeah, that's the only hard part is having a dog and a cat or a pet is when it's time for them to go. It's very emotional and hard.
I can't even think about that day. I'm sorry.
No, don't just enjoy every day you have with them. And like I said, and I used to volunteer at a local shelter here, so I was around dogs every day when I was doing that. I miss it. I miss having a dog. So
Oh, well, this is such a sad story. Quick, say something happy.
okay, your next dog, you should name him Allen, Josh Allen.
You know what? I like weird. You know how like cats have really weird names? It's always
Yeah,
like Wiggles or something
yeah.
weird, Biscuit, I think I think I would keep it like to a weird dog name or just like a very random human name like Kevin, like something but I kind of like that they have non-human names. They have human middle names, but dog first name. So
Yeah, my cat I have right now, I adopted her from the Humane Society. Her name is Latte.
see, cats have like the funkiest names ever.
Yes,
Lots. I mean, right?
Latte. Yeah. Well,
Never.
that was her name when I adopted her.
Aw.
So and I just said, I like the name Latte, and she's spoiled rotten too. So she's
Well,
got a maid. She's got a maid.
long live all animals, right?
Definitely. I wish they live longer than humans.
I'm not going to disagree. I'm not going to disagree, Chris.
Well, there are good people, and you seem like a really good person
Oh,
too. So
thanks.
I've been so lucky with this podcast. I've had so many great guests, and I've made a lot of connections, and I've actually made a lot of friendships from this. And it's just changed my life doing this podcast.
Oh, well, that's good to hear.
So, but like I said, I really appreciate you coming on, and like I said, I always like having my guests from Buffalo too.
We're a good breed of Buffalonians, so thanks. And we love Canada. You're our second city, so
Definitely. Hey, when I went to the Bisons, I covered them as a media member, thanks to Pat Malacaro. Really super nice guy, Pat. And I snuck some stuff over across the border, and he goes, "Why did you sneak over?" I said, "Coffee, Chris." And he goes, "Oh, that's my favorite chocolate bar." So I snuck him over like 12 big Coffee, Chris chocolate bars. So he was so happy. And then people were like, "Why can't we get this in the States? It's made by Nestle." And I'm like, I don't know why.
To piggyback off of Pat, I also love the coffee crisp. I have a friend whenever he performs. There's some great clubs in Canada. He will bring some coffee crisp home for me but duty free. The other thing is though, you guys have the Kinder eggs, which
Yes.
they were illegal in the U.S. because apparently our kids swallow the prizes inside
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
choke. Whoops! But I guess in Canada, the children don't. They follow directions. So ours are a little bit different. But Cadbury too. You guys have great Cadbury products.
And Smarties too. Apparently, you can't get Smarties in the States.
Yeah, we used to. I think back in the rah 90s, but
It's funny, my Canadian friends over here, when I go to the States, oh, can you get me these American chocolate bars? But then when I go to the States, they're like, guys are now like, can you bring me back over the coffee crisp? So Pat
yeah.
was such a nice guy, and
Oh,
he told me about the coffee crisp. So when I come to Buffalo again, and I do run into you at some point, I'll bring you some coffee crisp too.
oh, great. What about a bag of milk? Because that is also my favorite thing about Canada.
The milk, yeah, our milk tastes different than yours. It
Yeah,
does.
it's
It
probably
does.
less things in it, but I think I love the idea that it's in a bag. It's so we only have like wine in a bag here, so I like that it's a little bit more environmentally friendly. So
So each country's kind of unique. You got stuff we don't have, and we have stuff that you don't have.
what do we have that you don't have?
You still have a little more choice. You still have a little more choice. I find your prices over there, like the grocery stores and the restaurants, have gone up, but you
Yeah.
guys still have your food portions are still bigger than ours, and you still have more choice in clothing and stuff like that.
Oh, well, you guys did invent the Canadian tuxedo, so that you do have a lot of clothing. Uh, what is that called? You're very edgy with your clothing. The Canadian tuxedo. I mean, we just had the
Yeah.
regular tuxedo, which we didn't even invent. So
Wow, I did not know that. Now I found. Now I know.
jean on jean all day.
Definitely, definitely. Okay. First question I wanted to ask you, Allie.
Yeah.
Can you just tell my audience here just a little bit about yourself, and when did you decide you wanted to pursue a career in stand-up comedy?
Oh, great question. So I have been doing. So I'm from Buffalo, born and raised. I've traveled all over, but if you're from Buffalo or you've been to Buffalo, there is something very special about this city. So I call it home still. But I started comedy 8 years ago, and I just wanted to do one open mic. I did it, fell in love, and never stopped. So yeah, I've been doing that. I was in my late 20s when I started, and still going.
Wow,
Yeah,
8 years you've been doing that. So
yeah. Great days,
okay,
bad days. It's all wild. The worst thing that a lot of people say they could never do stand up, and I used to say, "Oh yeah, you can," but I think really people can't. It's like I think it is tough. You can either ruin someone's day or make it the best, and that can be a lot of pressure. But it is really fun. It's a lot of writing. It's a lot of practice. It's a lot of repeat. It's a lot of long nights where no one laughs and you just go home sad. But on the good days, it's just the best.
did you have any people in your family that were stand-up comedians as well?
No, no. A lot of comics just have weird family members that they are like, oh, I'm in an odd world. I should write about this. So yeah, no comedians. My dad's really funny, but yeah, no one did stand up.
Okay. I was gonna say you're my sixth comedian from the States that have come on my show. I've had a whole bunch from LA come on it, and they're all great people and stuff like that. So you're number six now for my comedians on my podcast.
Well, look at me. No, awesome. Very, very exciting. Yeah, comedians. There's a bunch of us, but it's a lot of work, but comedians are so great. They're very, yeah, a lot of
And
really
you,
quiet in real life, generally, very quiet.
well, and you know what? In the last couple years, it wasn't really that funny with this pandemic. So you know what? It helps people get through tough times.
Yeah, especially with the pandemic, I found it really hard to write. I had no inspiration. I don't think. I mean, besides the fact that you couldn't really go out and perform, but I don't think people, especially in the U.S., like people didn't want to hear about politics because no one was going to win on either side, right?
Yep.
You can divide a room really quickly, which is not what you want to do. You want to build trust and happiness and all that kind of good stuff. And the pandemic, COVID was sad. People were, losing lives. So it's kind of tough to make a joke out of that. I mean, when people do, it's fantastic, but it's yeah. And everyone heard the joke. Everyone heard like a COVID joke, which just eh.
Now that leads to my next question I wanted to ask you. How long does it take when you write jokes? How long does it normally take? Does it take right away? You just know it, or is it sometimes you have to think about stuff and it takes time?
Yeah. Every joke is different. I've written a brilliant joke that I just thought once and I just tweaked it a little bit. Other times I'm still working on joke. I have like jokes written down in a notebook that I'm still from 6 years ago that I'm still trying to tweak and make into something or an idea. And And sometimes it's just hard to do sometimes. Or you'll just find a beautiful joke out of nowhere and it sticks and it's perfect and you don't really have to work on it. But with saying that, there is, going to open mics, you go as a comic to repeat a joke over and over again and tweak it and figure out how it works best. But, you can spend 6 months, a year finding the difference between a beat, a breath, and a pause in a joke, which it's all subtle. Like everything you see on stage, if they're doing it right, like all of our favorite comedians, if they're, when they do a pause, that's intentional. They generally worked a while to figure out if that worked. So yeah. So long story short, anywhere from an hour to 6 years.
Wow. Okay. And I was going to say, I had to ask you this since I'm Canadian. Do you have any good Canadian jokes or one you can share on my podcast?
This is I'm assuming clean podcast?
It's
Don't. Not that I know. No, I have performed at Showtime Comedy Club though, which is in St. Catharines, and I just remember they really did not love Justin Trudeau. So
okay. That would go well.
I was like, but I think I was like, oh my gosh, your prime minister is attractive, and at the time we had Donald Trump, and my president is not, or something, and they were like, boo, and I was like, no, you guys have I don't know, but it wasn't really funny. It was just an observation, and that was a long time ago. that was years ago, but yeah, no, I don't know if I have a Canadian joke. Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. No worries. I was gonna say, when you go on stand-up comedy, do you know how many jokes you do per show, or you don't really count how many you do?
So generally, you have a set list, and they'll say, okay, you have 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes, 20-minute set. So you kind of know what you're going to say. And then I also leave time for improvising with the crowd. But if I only have, let's say, 10 minutes, I might not have time to really, talk to people in the crowd.
I was gonna say, when you go on stage too, how long does it take you to engage the audience? Like just the sense what their mood is before you go on stage.
Before I'm even on stage, I know what the crowd's kind of like. And like I was kind of said earlier, and I don't know if this is what the other 5 comedians from LA said, but there's a lot of pacing that goes on beforehand. Like we're kind of we're like trolls that are just like peering out of the back room, like kind of checking out, how the crowd acts, how like when they're being seated, we're like kind of figuring out things. You listen to other comics sets. So anyone going on before you're seeing how they're doing. If the crowd reacts to certain jokes, like, right away, if, like, oh, they're laughing at a dirty joke, maybe I should add some more dirty, or if they don't like it, or if they don't want politics, or they do want politics, or they want more sports, like you kind of can tweak your set a little bit and know how they act to things. Yeah.
Okay. How competitive is the comedy industry, especially in the Buffalo market? And do you travel outside of the Buffalo market as well?
Yeah. You know what? I think competitive wise, I think people want everyone to succeed, is, again, cheesy as it sounds. So I don't think it's like, oh, I can't believe they got that booking, but hopefully you're not doing the same act as everyone else. Like I don't do dirty anymore. I don't really do dirty jokes. I do talk about sports, and not that other comics who are women don't do sports, but they tend not to, at least in Buffalo. So I know, like, I'm a little bit different that way. I talk about my dogs a lot. But there's some people that talk strictly about dating and maybe about drugs, and I just don't talk about that stuff. So it's just about preference and taste. It's not really about like, competitive in that way. I do travel outside to do stand up. During the pandemic, I've been just on lockdown and terrified of humans. But I'm getting back out there.
Okay, definitely. This leads to my next question too. Where did you attend school, and did you have any mentor or mentors when you were first starting out in the comedy industry?
Oh, so like comedy school? Did I go to?
Yeah. Or like what school you went to, or did you go to a comedy school as well?
I didn't. I went to there's a school in Buffalo called Buffalo State College. I studied history, and I did not do. And I went to grad school, and I did not do comedy until 5, 6, 7 years after I graduated. So, yeah, I really no comedy school. I think that I mean, it's such some people need the influence, but I think it's all trial and error. I don't think. Listen, one of those master classes by Steve Martin would never hurt, or with anyone. But I think it's good to like. I like learning with friends. So we have a bunch of. There's a lot of comedians around, so sometimes you just kind of joke around. You do like a writing session that helps. But I think someone saying, "Oops," like you need a beginning, middle, and end. Like I never needed anyone to tell me that or talk about stage presence. I just kind of worked it out myself. Some of those classes I think are money grabs, like improv classes, because really you can go to any improv place and find a spot to, you know. I'm sorry if you hear. Oh.
No worries. Everything good?
Yeah.
Okay.
No fires.
Okay, that's good too. We don't need any fires here.
All of a sudden, like you see this room is like lighting up.
Yeah. And this leads to my next question. What was your first stand-up comedy gig, if you remember? And who were some of your favorite comedians growing up, both male and female? And did you have any comedians that you liked from Canada? We're known for that too.
So one of my okay, wait. So my first gig was at Mr. Goodbar. It's on Elmwood Avenue. It was in oh gosh, I was so underprepared. And the thing about when you first start comedy, and what's great is that it's called you're a bringer, so you just bring your friends, so they fill the room, and then you have an audience. Otherwise, you can. I performed in front of 2 people before, and and then like at a Bandits game, I performed in front of 19,000. So you have some. When I say there's highs and lows, you're like, oh, okay. There's no ego involved in comedy. But yeah, I did it at Mr. Goodbar. My jokes were so terrible. I'm mortified that I probably ever said any of those jokes on stage, but that's called growth. And then my all-time favorite comedian, my first crush ever was Steve Martin. Still is. I still love Steve Martin. I love Martin Short too. Your Canadian. Yeah, they have a great podcast too. If you need a podcast to listen to.
Oh, good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. Look at me. I'm nervous. They have Only Murders, but they were just on David Spade and Dana Carvey's podcast, which is really good. But yeah, I mean, there was so many like Canadian influences that way, which I loved. I grew up watching SNL in the early mid '90s, so Norm Macdonald I think was just one of the most brilliant comedians. His timing was perfect. But yeah, I kind of like those. There's like those '90s things. I still think Chris Rock is just keeps making the hits. So smart. Comics who are female. Natasha Leggero, I love, or Leggero. It depends how you emphasize the G. I love her. Sometimes it's hard for me to watch comedians because then I think, oh, I should have wrote that joke. I should have wrote that joke, or so then you get like joke envy. So I don't watch too many because I don't want to like soak in any of their ideas. I know it sounds weird.
Yeah, I'm old. I grew up in the 70s, so I remember SCTV here in Canada was John Candy, Eugene Levy, Andrea Martin, Catherine O'Hara. It was like the Saturday Night Live crew of Canada back in the SCTV.
Superstars. Yeah, and Martin Short just said that like his first year at SNL, they gave him like a 1-year contract, and he said SCTV was the most like brilliant sort of engine where you just could, you wrote for 3 weeks and you filmed for 3 weeks. So you had like time to move around, and SNL was just a way different beast that really, I don't think nurtured their talent as well as SCTV did. But
and I missed the late John Candy. He died way too soon at 44. I still remember him as Uncle Buck.
I
He had
know.
a lot of roles, but Uncle Buck was one of my favorite roles he did, and it's just he just passed away too soon, much too soon.
Yeah, and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, so good.
That was good.
There was a
That was
scene
an
filmed in Buffalo, so there's always there's that. But yeah, I'm a
there's
Steve Martin person. The Jerk was my favorite, but yeah.
definitely. And Buffalo's had some movies filmed there too. I think Bruce Almighty with Jim Carrey.
Yep.
I think Jim Carrey filmed, and John Murphy was in one of those movies, and he was on my podcast a year ago. The voice of the
Oh,
Buffalo Bills.
yeah.
Nice, super nice guy too, John.
Yeah, and he does a great announcing. Like he just knows that team like the back of his hand. So he's fun to listen to.
Definitely, definitely. So, okay, I was gonna say, yeah, and I also grew up in the '80s, so I was a fan of Eddie Murphy and Chevy Chase, and I think to me the best time for the Saturday Night Live crew was in the '80s, in my opinion. That was the best '80s and maybe the early '90s.
Yeah, see, I think there was a sweet spot for me where it was. I mean, I totally agree. There's just some of the cast were like powerhouses, but there's like Dana Carvey. I love
Yes,
him so much, and he's still alive.
Mike Myers, Mike Myers,
Mike
Mike
Myers.
Myers.
I
Yeah,
mean, it's wild. Some of the people that came out of some of those seasons. But again, Norm Macdonald, and you're thinking like they play with Chris Rock, Adam Sandler, David Spade. Like it's just these crazy, crazy people that are now just legends. So
definitely. Now, this next question I wanted to ask you, Allie, you've already answered it. So my second part of the question is, do you have, I asked the other comedians this too, do you have any rituals before going live on stage that kind of calms you down, relaxes you, gets you to
uh,
focus?
uh, yeah, I sit in silence. I don't like anyone talking to me because I before I go on stage every time, and no matter how long I've done a joke, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna forget everything I've ever done. So I just like to sit with my set list just so I'm not looking at it, or I just kind of know and familiarize myself with it. I used to have a cocktail beforehand. Now I don't need the liquid courage, but I mean, once in a while I'll have a drink, but um yeah, I just make sure I put on my lipstick and make sure my hair doesn't look frizzy, and, and then I go on.
I was going to say, on average, how many shows do you do a week or a month per average?
Oh, and
Guessing.
I mean, with COVID, it's like it's nothing right now. But I mean, I have a show next week in Rochester, New York.
So
But I had I think I've done 3 shows in the last 4 weeks. But again, I took a huge break during COVID. Yeah.
I was gonna say, and a couple of my friends in LA, they were doing it through Flappers, which is in Burbank. It's well known, and they were doing their comedy shows there. So even though it was a negative time with the pandemic, I was able to pay some money and watch them perform on Zoom through the computer. So it's not the same as being there in person, but it still was better than having nothing.
I think I did 2 Zooms or maybe 3, and it was so different. It's just weird seeing if your joke lands or doesn't, and then you don't hear anything. Did you liked it though, or
I liked it because I couldn't go to the States and I couldn't go out to California, obviously.
yeah.
And they did a really good job, and the Wi-Fi signal was strong. So it was the best they could do at that time.
Yeah, and keep the arts alive. So I mean it's weird. It's not weird, but it's you have to figure things out pretty quickly. And you know what, with that, like we all learned how to use Zoom through the pandemic. At least that's what we got out of it, right? Something positive out of the pandemic.
Yeah, for with my podcast, I actually use StreamYard. Have you ever used StreamYard before?
I haven't.
No, I actually Zoom's great. Don't get me wrong, but StreamYard's even better, and that's what I use for my podcast because I put Buffalo on the background for you, and then I've got graphics, and then I've got a little video clip I could show of my guests. I have one of actually of some of your work, if that's okay.
Oh, I was
That's
probably really old. Is by the way, are they a sponsor? Because that was a great plug. That was really good.
I'm still working on getting sponsors for my podcast too. So that's the next thing I'm going to try to do is try to get some local sponsors. So I actually got 16 countries that actually listen to my
Oh,
podcast, and I'm like, wow, I still got a long ways to go yet. But you know what? The only way you get good at something is just got to keep going away, working and working at it, and then also the guests make a great podcast too.
well, hello to the 16 countries. So
Well, thank you. And I'm on 3 live platforms. This is on my YouTube channel and Facebook Live and Twitter. Eventually, I'd like to grow that more to get
Yeah.
on more live platforms. And also, too, with this StreamYard, if I guess I've had a few that didn't feel comfortable being on live camera, so they just came on audio too. So I always tell my guests, if you're more comfortable talking to me on audio, just put a still picture up and you can come on audio too.
Oh, very, very classy. There you go.
Yes. So I do pay a little bit a month for StreamYard, but it's actually really been great for my podcast because I try to make my podcast as professional as possible.
Well, Chris, you should use this clip and ask Streamline to be a sponsor because that was a great, it was a great ad. And they're a cute little, the duck is cute, the little mallard, adorable.
Yes, and I even got my own logo at the top. I
Very
had a friend in Michigan. He does digital cartoon drawings for celebrities, and for some reason he wanted to do one for me. So and he didn't even want money for it. So now I'm using it on coffee mugs and also on T-shirts.
Are you a
Actually,
Tigers fan?
yes, I'm a Detroit
Oh,
Tigers fan, and
oh,
there's
see,
my mug.
that's cool.
Yeah, and I got my Buffalo Bison's hat on.
Just
I
saw
figured,
that. I'm very proud of that hat. And that's a good Toronto connection. There you go.
yeah, I'm not a fan of any of the Toronto teams. The Rock are good. I like the Rock. They're a good team, but I'm mostly Detroit teams and the Philadelphia Eagles. So don't boo me.
Oh.
I have a soft spot for the Bills. As long as you don't play the Eagles, I kind of cheer for the Bills.
You know what though? Okay, so Philly have you been to Philly as a city?
Yes, I have twice.
It's a cool city. It's like how it's designed, but their fans are so mean. And if anyone from Philly is listening, I've
One of
got
my friends
stories.
is from Philly. Yeah,
I've
the
got
Philly
stories.
sports good.
I know that people like from Buffalo have driven down for a Sabres game and like they have like a New York State license plate and their tires are slashed. Like that's a little too
Yeah.
but
The Philly people I know, they've been really great with me, and I actually have had the voice of the Phillies on here, Tom McCarthy, Jim Jackson from the Flyers. So, and one of my friends, Jamie, this Philly sports guy, he's like the #1 fan in Philly. He paints his face up every time the Philly teams play. He actually helped me get on StreamYard and assisted
oh,
with
see,
me
that's
with
cool.
my podcast. So, you know what? Every city has bad apples, but you know what? There are good people, and I love their Philly cheesesteaks. I love their Philly cheesesteaks.
Widow it out, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, I have.
cool. I love the city. I just as a as a person that has played against well, not me personally, but my team's played against them. They're good at sports, but man, you don't want to always be like I can't wear like a Sabres jersey in their arena because they'll be like, get her out,
Yeah, like I said, I love sports too, and I want my team to win. But I agree with you. I hate seeing fans go overboard. With I've seen fights and stupid stuff like that, and it's like, hey, people have a right to cheer for their other teams and stuff like that. Basically the word I'm looking for is going too far.
Mm-hmm. And we have plenty of Bills fans that do that. So we're not guilty here as well. So
Definitely. But I was gonna say. This one I had to ask you. How did you come across your role with Late Night Buffalo as a stand-up comedian reporter? And can you just tell my audience a little bit about Late Night with Buffalo, your role there? And you also, the other question, and we've already talked about any good Canadian jokes. Well, I'll get you some for next time.
Okay. So Late Night Buffalo, it's always this like on and off show, and it was developed by some very talented, funny, lovely I was gonna say Canadians, comics, Cody Colin Chase, and it's also Kevin Dillon and Tom Amadeo and myself are the 4 people involved with it, and all comics. And Cody and Kevin they were like kind of like news desky. They kind of wanted like a weekend update sort of thing, like news but make it funny. And then since I'm the person that loves sports in that group, they thought I should be the sports person on there and just kind of give my take and make it funny. And because it's nice to see I think it's nice. It's so much better now than it was 5, 10, 15 years ago, but it's nice to see more women talking about sports. So
Okay, I was gonna say this video clip I wanted to show just for like 2 minutes was from 2017, or do you want me to hold off on it?
is that the Bandits one?
Just 1 second. I got it off YouTube. It's off Cody Colin Chase's YouTube channel. It's Late Night Sports with Allie Brady, September 11th, 2017.
Sure. If it's Late Night Buffalo, it's great. So
Okay, well, I'll just play. Is that okay if I play a couple minutes?
Yeah. Go right ahead.
1 second. I like to do this with all my guests just to show some of their work. So give me 1 second. I'm still learning all this stuff on StreamYard.
I had longer hair.
Perfect. All right, so we're gonna move on. We're gonna get things rolling into our first guest. A very good friend of mine. She's wonderful. She's very smart. She's a comic in town. She's also my Late Night Buffalo sports correspondent. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Allie Brady.
Can you hear it okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for coming on.
Oh, thank you, sir.
How are you?
Living the dream.
Yep, that's
Thank you.
That's right.
This
First-
is nice.
First of all, let's get into the trade that happened. Let's talk out the gate because that happened like today, yesterday.
Yesterday.
See, this is why I need you around.
Yeah, he's been busy making quotes for the Erie County Fair. Doesn't have Twitter, but he knows.
Don't have Twitter.
Yeah, it's good.
So this trade, it was a big trade. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
Explain it. Tell me.
I feel like you need basic information. So football is a sport played with two teams.
Males?
On a field.
All males?
Yeah, Cody, thanks for bringing that up.
Right. We've got an agenda. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Women's liberation, this is what you got. This is what you got. All right. So we traded. I'm sure everyone in the room is human and knows what happens. But we traded Sammy Watkins and Ron Darby, right? Yeah. And there's some
Is that a bad rule? Like, do you think, was Sammy like our go-to?
Sammy's a good dude, but he has like a Cinderella glass slipper for a foot. So it's not.
I understand the reference because I've seen Cinderella.
Yeah.
I know what that is.
But a Bills game.
Don't know what that
No,
is.
yeah. No, it's okay. And Ron Darby, he was like our low-key lockdown cornerback. So he was a good guy, and he's a
Defense. Are they both defensive players?
Okay, so
Yeah, this is why I need you. I need you on my side.
let's just say we have more draft picks for the next
Cool.
draft.
That's good. I mean, that's what a sports fan. That's the most thing I see on Facebook is at least we get a draft pick or something.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be good for 3 years, but nothing is. So
True.
we've got a long way in this world.
Yeah, I think that's why I stopped watching the Bills and paying attention because there's so much sadness.
I know. It's all right.
So sad. So you also play sports. What do you play?
I was in a beer league softball
Perfect.
team.
Beer.
Yeah, super
I know
great.
that. That's good.
Yeah, look at me. That's great.
You also golf. We golf
I golf, we
together.
golf,
Yeah,
yeah.
we are golf partners. We golf sometimes. She is way better than me by a long shot.
It's okay.
But that's okay. We also a really cool thing about you and your sports. I've been a sports fan your whole life, and you've studied sports.
Yes, I had the internet since I was since 95 AOL days, as we were talking.
Okay, yeah. So you just started. You were like, I'm gonna learn.
Huge
all the
sports fan. I've always loved sports. I played sports. I had a D1 scholarship for volleyball. So
Wow.
yeah, really shows it. Look at me
Pretty
now.
impressive. Yeah, you did it.
Look at me
You
now.
did it.
Yeah. Wow.
So let's go back to the Bills just for a second.
Yeah.
So why are they so, why do they suck?
Okay, so here's the thing. Whatever the Bills do, they touch, they ruin, right? It's just like Sammy Watkins. Oh, great job with that. But I mean, okay, he's just gonna break. But we got Reggie Bush, right? Reggie Bush.
Okay, yep. I don't know who that is.
Okay, he dated Kim Kardashian.
I know who that is.
Okay, all right. Simple terms. But he's he won the Heisman. He had to return it, but he won the Heisman once. He won the Super Bowl in New Orleans. Comes to Buffalo. First running back to ever get negative rushing yards. I know
negative's bad.
Yeah, good boy. But we had OJ, like OJ, we like that.
OJ was great in his prime, right? Like he was like the juice.
That's just because his name is OJ, but that but OJ, right? Like we had OJ, and that's like. So I guess the only good thing about Buffalo is OJ because he's like 1-0 in murder charges.
Right.
Like we beat murder, but the Patriots are 0-1 in murder charges.
So we beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
We did it, everybody. We did it.
Anyways, that clip was. I just wanted to play a little of that clip as well.
It was, and for the record, that was in 2017 when we had Tyrod Taylor as our QB. So that was before Josh Allen, before the match.
I was just thinking about it when I was watching the clip. 2017. That was 5 years ago. 5 freaking years ago.
Yeah, that's that there, a lot has happened. A pandemic has happened, but 5 years ago it's quite some time. So a lot has changed. Buffalo is now, which is so interesting to think about. 5 years ago, we were just embarrassing, and now we are just
Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, which is really special. But we're not that joke anymore. So it just shows why you always constantly change your material, because I could never do that now. And oh my
God, true. That's true.
It almost, to me, I was like, oh, it sounded like a bad date, because I was like, the awkwardness was so fun, and the pace. But anyway, yeah. Alas.
I was gonna say this right now. The Bills are Super Bowl contenders. The Buffalo Bisons, they're in first place in their division. They're playing good. The Buffalo Bandits had a great year. They were just one game short of winning another championship, and the Sabres actually look like they're making progress for next year.
Yes. I think Sabres, give them 2 years, and I think we will be. I think the coaching, Granato is great. I think they know what they're doing, and they have an idea of where they're trying to, put us. But yeah, we're really, gosh, the Bills. Like, it kind of makes me nervous with the Bills, because I liked when no one knew about us, because then the pressure was not there. But now everyone.
Now the pressure is huge.
Yeah.
Big time. It's now you guys are gonna have 5 primetime games. It's like the Eagles. Hey, the year the Eagles won the Super Bowl 2017, we weren't supposed to go far in the playoffs. And then we lost Carson Wentz to an ACL, and we had Nick Foles, and we're like, okay, we're done. Nick Foles. And we go into the playoffs, we beat the Vikings, we win the championship, and then we go against the Patriots, and Nick Foles outplays Brady. And I was in shock when we won Super Bowl 52. I couldn't believe it.
I mean, wild. And also now, like, if you just said Minnesota, like, look at how Minnesota's not doing anything.
Yeah.
Was it Kirk Cousins, right? Like, it's
just,
you guys said, is it Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hurts is our quarterback now. He's in our 3rd year, and this is a big year for him. Either he's going to become a star quarterback, or he's going to be another JP Losman. Because I know Buffalo went through a ton of quarterbacks, about 20 or 25 after Jim Kelly retired.
Yeah, we had a rough go for a bit, but man, is just Josh Allen. Just perfect fit, and I'm the first to admit it. When the draft happened, I thought, Josh Rosen was supposed to be our guy. I was like, oh, we picked the wrong Josh, but wow, did they know what they were doing? They picked the perfect person for us. So yeah.
His first year, he kind of struggled, but he was kind of a raw talent. And then his second year and then 3rd year, he just really took leaps and bounds. And he always had the talent, but obviously they knew how to develop him. Brian Dable, and now he's gone. So now it's Ken Dorsey. But it's just amazing how much he's gone over in the 2nd and 3rd year from his first year in the league.
Yeah, I really think his vision went from this to this. Like he can see the field more. He holds on to the ball longer, which shows what happens after a couple of years. But I think those trainers are so good. And I'm just, I know, fingers crossed. I hate like saying like, oh, we're going to win this and we're going to do that. But because there is so much pressure, and the schedule we're playing the Ravens. I do think we might like be goofy and lose an easier game. Like, I think like the Dolphins, they've got some time also to develop, but I think we might like lose a game to the to Miami by just something goofy. I don't know. But I think we're gonna do good. I think it looks like we can get playoffs again, but yeah.
I say 12. I say 12-5. 12-5.
Oh, I
12 and
think
5.
we'll be more 14 and 3.
3. Okay, well, we'll have to go over this podcast at the end of the year. The thing is, it's not how you start the season; it's how you finish it. And you don't want to be like the Patriots in 2008, where they went 18-0, and then the Super Bowl they lost to the Giants, and nobody cared that they won 18 games in a row. They
Yeah.
cared about the Super Bowl loss.
Yeah, that's I mean, we're starting on the road in California, so that's kind of goofy. But I don't care about losing a couple as long as listen. If we take home the Super Bowl, then I'm okay with that. But the pressure is so nerve wracking. Less than 50 days. We're less than 50 days away, so that's.
Yeah, it's kind of nice because the CFL's back here. I'm a Canadian football fan, and then I'm an NFL fan, and I find in September is the best time of the year for sports because you got football going on, you got hockey starting up, baseball's in the pennant races, and now I've got a fifth sport, lacrosse.
Yeah.
And this is thanks to John from the Bandits and my other guest, Pat Gregor from TSN in Quebec, Canada. Lacrosse is my number 5 sport. I used to have 4. Now lacrosse is in my top 5, and I love the game. And I went to a rock game this year in Hamilton, and went to one in Buffalo. I worked in the press box, and I loved it. I had a great time, and that leads to this question. How did you end up with your role as the in-arena host at the KeyBank Center for the Buffalo Bandits? And overall, how did you like that experience?
Yeah. Thanks for asking that. If you would have played a clip, I would have given you my audition reel because I thought that was great. So, which I interviewed some Bandit players, but I did an audition. It was for the Sabres, and they came back, and I had to, go in the arena and, say some lines, and they came back and said, "Hey, would you want to do the Bandits?" Which perfect fit for me. The Bandits, if you again, you've been to a rock game, and the Bandits, but there is something really special about lacrosse and lacrosse fans and the feeling, and it's family friendly. It's one of the only places that I think in our community, at least in the Buffalo community, where you can have there's such a strong Native American presence, which I think is so important and special, and especially since that's where the game came from. I think that's really beautiful. But yeah, they offered me the game or the role, and gladly accepted it. And I just feel like a lucky duck. Yeah.
I was gonna say they had such a great year, and they just fell one game short to Colorado. And it just shows you how hard it is to win a championship, and especially in a best of 3 series.
Right. And that away game was, but that's the thing. If you looked at, who was under? It was Toronto. It was Toronto under Colorado. No, it was who played Colorado before?
San Diego.
Oh, San
Diego.
I'd much rather have played San Diego, but they were neck and neck. San Diego and Colorado were the entire season. So, there's such good talent in this league and in this game. And it was really sad to see them lose. And I know how much those players and the staff wanted to bring home a championship. I hate to be like, there's next year, but those guys and Tavares, they're going to make them train and make them prepared. And I don't think they ever want to lose at home again. So I'm fingers crossed, because what a great team we have. It's really a special team.
I was going to say, I'm going to put you on the spot. Does Matt Vince come back, or do you think he retires?
Oh, I think he's going to come back. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't
he? He was the goal. I think he was the goalie of the year, and he was also the Bandits defensive player of the year.
There was some, and then Dane got an award. Right? Did he get
MVP?
So we have some superstars on that team. Was it? I think Nanticoke got a deal playing in the our off season for another team. So we've got some really, really good talent. I think Vince comes back just because I I don't think he wants to leave his last game with an L. I think he wants to bring home a championship. But I mean, we have the Eastern Conference Championship, so we do have a championship. So.
Sure. Okay. I'm gonna put you on the spot here too. Do you have plans to return as the arena host yet, or that decision hasn't been made yet?
I hope they ask me back.
Okay.
It's such a blast doing it. It really is so fun. It was an honest dream of mine to do. I've always wanted to get into sports announcing or something, and that was wild. It's really cool. So I hope they liked me and want me back.
Oh, and I'm also hoping to get do some public addressing announcing, because I think that would help me too if I could do that as well, doing the podcast as well. Public speaking, the more you do it something, the better as well. And I was so glad too they brought back the Bandits. The Bandits. I missed them because they didn't bring them back until the end, but it just adds to the in-game experience as well.
Is that because they're very attractive women dancing, or is it just because you?
That's because they're dancing. They're dancing.
It's there. And by the way, I met them all. Like they, practice when I'm doing my like, hey, so nice, so friendly. Like, and it's great to see them back. It's great to see how much the crowd loves them. Like, yeah, I think it's like they love the team and then they love the Bandits. Like, it's great.
Definitely. And the one thing I noticed about lacrosse fans, you know why they're so much different than the other sports fans? It's because the ticket prices are more reasonable, and also the fans can relate to the players, because a lot of these players, this, they all make not a lot of money playing lacrosse. They do it for the love of the sport, and they all have to have full-time jobs in the off season.
Which I always think too, like so if anyone listening has not gone to a lacrosse game, you can spend anywhere from $12 to $80. And you can get good seats in the 100 level bowl for $12. So a lot of the people that a lot of the fans that I interacted with all year, they are season ticket holders. They bring their kids. I know people that were like, oh, there was a couple that was there, and they said they had like their first date, the first game of like opening season, like one of the Bandits, and they're still there. So there's like this longevity, there's pride in that. There's a lot of kids. It's also a lot of adults. Like, so it's not like kid day at like a football game. It's like a good raucous, fun crowd where everyone's having a good time, but it is affordable. And yeah, I don't know. It's on weekends. So it's not like you have a random Tuesday night game. And the players are, they're probably working their bank job during the day, and they come and, you probably work with them, right? Like, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and a lot of these lacrosse players, especially on the Bandits, they're from around my area, either from Six Nations near Brantford, or I think Dane, Ontario, which is like 15 minutes. There's a few guys, and there's a couple guys from the Buffalo area on the team too. I'm just
there's a lot of
trying to think who the one guy is. Ferns.
Oh, from Western New York.
Yeah, I think there's one or two guys on the team from the Buffalo area.
Yeah, there's I know Frank Brown is from Salamanca, and then I think Connor Fields is.
Yes, Connor Fields from East Amherst.
Yeah.
By the way, I like Amherst, by the way. I like to go shopping there, and it's a nice area too.
I went to high school in Williamsville, which is not too far from they're connecting cities. So great shopping.
Very nice area. Yes, great shopping, and it's a very nice area too, and it's in a great location too.
Yeah, I do have, my heart is in Buffalo. I live in Buffalo, the city proper. So, yes, the suburbs are such a, I don't know. I like my city, like it loud.
I told Stu Boyer, he's been on my podcast 3 times. I said, I'm like Buffalo's adopted son. I have a lot of my guests come from Buffalo, so I've been really lucky.
The best. Well, we'll accept you.
Definitely. And I'll get you some coffee crisp chocolate bars next time I come over.
Yes.
You just give me a list, I'll do it. Hey, are you okay for a few more minutes for a few more questions?
Yeah.
Okay. You already answered my next question. This one I had to ask you. What was the atmosphere like at that final game against Colorado with over 19,000 fans at the KeyBank Center?
Wild. So we started the first game at, I think it was around 8,000 people. The game previously, so the game 1 of the finals was 14,000. So a sold out crowd. was just electrifying. It was just like, electrifying is what I would describe it as. It was crazy because like, I do my little like welcome to KeyBank Center, and I heard people cheering, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is what happens when 19,000 people, like people are paying attention. The fans, I don't even know how to explain it. It was just magical, which is why it also stinks when they didn't take it home. But I think we have some more fans that are paying attention to this team because, they deserve it.
Definitely. And I was going to say what I liked at the end of the game. Obviously, the fans were disappointed it didn't win, but they were chanting "Let's go Bandits" after the game, and that was real classy on the fans' part. And I'm sure the players appreciated that.
Well, if you think about it, it's sure we are all disappointed, but like, how do you think those players feel? Like they, and they, they're sprinting though, like this entire game. So it's not like they're just phoning it in. But I do think that the positive outcome is kind of what I just said is that I think more people are going to come to games, and I think they've made some fans out of people that didn't really pay attention to the sport before.
And that was me, and now I'm a huge fan of it. And I've had a lot of guests come on from the Lacrosse League, and even Brian Shanahan, who's a legendary lacrosse player in Canada, and his brother Brandon was an NHL Hall of Famer. So I even had him come on my show, and we talked lacrosse. And I love the sport now, and it's now in number 5. I have like 5 favorite sports in lacrosse, and I can't wait to come down to Buffalo again for a couple games next year.
I mean, is it number 5 like the lowest of your favorite sports, or is it like you're not calling out like your favorite?
Number 4? Actually, I'll move it ahead of basketball. Actually, I'll put basketball number 5, lacrosse number 4.
You know what? I'm a big I'm a sport junkie, but I love basketball, and you guys got the Raptors. I mean, come on.
I'm a Pistons fan. Detroit Pistons, bad
You just
boys.
really don't care about your Canadian teams.
No, I do like the Toronto Argonauts of the CFL.
I mean, and by the way, Johnny Football. Thanks for taking Johnny Football off of our hands for.
He's out of the sport now.
Yeah, I know.
He didn't last long in Canada. He couldn't handle the game, and you know what? A lot of American guys come over here. They struggle actually because it's a different field, bigger ball, and the rules are a little bit different. It takes time for the really good Americans to come over here to learn the game. But I love 3-down football and I love 4-down. But I only watch the NFL, CFL, and college football. Now I got to put you on the spot. If you like college football, who's your team?
Okay, so, so I'm a Buffalo girl, so I would say University of Buffalo. But
good choice.
But my other thing, which some people roll their eyes at, is my dad's from California, so as a legacy, I love USC. Okay. And a lot of people like that. They don't translate well in the NFL, like the quarterbacks never do. But I do secretly love USC, and now they're in the Big Ten, so.
And you brought back Matt Barkley for the Bills too.
I know, and Barkley is he's great. What a good
guy.
But we've also, but then you see, I can talk football for hours. But then you see like Matt Leinart, who didn't do anything, but Carson Wentz from USC?
No, Dakota, Wyoming. I think he was from Wyoming.
Another good. What Wyoming's now bringing out, but yeah,
or in the Dakota somewhere. He was out somewhere there. I can't remember. I know Josh Allen is from Wyoming.
Yes. All right. Sorry, I got a little frozen. Was that me or you?
It happens. I guess. Okay. I might have froze there too. So, okay, my graphic must have froze. So don't worry about it. Okay, here's the question. I'm going to put you on the spot. I always ask my Buffalo guests this too. Which Buffalo team will finally win a championship in the next year? Bills, Bisons, Sabres, or Bandits? And the Bandits do have 4 NLL titles since 1992. So they are 4-time champions. But I just wanted to see who you think will win the next championship in Buffalo.
I think the Bisons are going to take it. They did take it last year. Another great, I think Bisons. I think I don't want to jinx the Bills. Not that I'm jinxing the Bisons, but they've already done it. And I also don't know if I could handle the Bills when my head would explode. I would just be sobbing for days.
You'd be in shock like I was after Super Bowl 52. I was in shock for a week.
Oh, I watched all of those Bills Super Bowls, and
it was tough.
Yeah, but but we're gonna get it sooner than later. I don't think the Sabres are gonna get it next year. So I'm gonna, I guess I would say Bandits or Bisons, but I guess Bisons would happen before the Bandits. So
I really do think the outlook looks good for Buffalo sports in the next 3 to 5 years. Honestly, you guys should have a couple of championships very soon.
yeah, I totally agree, Chris. I think I think again the Bills I think are lined up to do it. I think there's a lot of good players out there in the NFL right now, so that's kind of stinks. I think we're going to lose a couple good people in the next couple years, which might affect us. But yeah.
Oh, to honor you, this was a full size helmet, but now look at it.
Microwaved it.
Yeah, I guess so. So it won't even fit on my head, but I had to show it to you anyways.
Oh, it's so cute.
Hopefully the Philly fans don't see that. They'll hate me. They'll boo me.
And if anyone's listening, just because I was like, Philly fans are mean, they're not mean per se. Not everyone.
Yes.
Just a couple experiences.
Definitely. Okay, and here's another one I wanted to ask you, by the way. What is the best place in Buffalo, in your opinion, for chicken wings? Mine, I like Famous Duff's. And your favorite music band? And do you have any particular comedy clubs in the Buffalo area that somebody like myself could check out the next time I'm in your city?
Yeah. So super I guess we'll be honest, we've been talking for like an hour. I'm a vegetarian, so that is
Okay, good to know.
Okay. Which is funny because we have this really great company here called 26 Shirts. We have a lot of sports shirts.
Yes.
A great company. The guys who and girls that work there, fantastic. But they always have these chicken wing shirts. I'm like, is that weird for a vegetarian to wear like just meat? But I used to work after college. I worked at a place called Gabriel's Gates, and that is always that they always say that's higher up there than Duff's and Anchor Bars. But Duff's, they do give you French fries because why not just keep it going? You get French fries and chicken wings. So if you ever want to feel like taking a nap and never waking up again, that's the way to go. But the secret at I guess I shouldn't say what the secret is, but I'll say it. It's butter. It's butter. It's just butter. A lot of butter and Frank's hot sauce.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. And I always like to have blue cheese on my wings too.
Appropriate. Yeah. Yes. I'll do vegetarian wings. Like I'll do fake chicken, but yeah, it makes sense. And thank you for not choosing the ranch option.
Oh yeah. Everybody here likes ranch, but I, for some reason, always liked dipping my wings in blue cheese dressing. So
classic. A little classic. And then you can also add hot sauce to your blue cheese, and then that makes it more fun too. So
definitely. Only bad thing about being in media now, doing freelance media work, the teams are feeding me food and buffet, and I've probably put on weight. So I got to go back to drinking water again and eating greens because I've probably, since the pandemic ended, I've probably put on about 20 pounds. So I have to start going back. I've lost the weight before, so now I got to go back to being strict about watching my food again, because when they have the Bisons, they feed you pasta, they feed you this and that's like, oh my God. It's like,
just have some celery. Just add some celery, and then you'll be fine.
That's true. I like celery. I can eat celery too.
But besides the chicken wing, to answer your question, and then so Gabriel's Gate, I will say, favorite band, is that like in
artist or a band?
Is that in general kind of thing?
Yeah, general. Yeah.
That's tough. I'm all over the place. I'm a big Beatles junkie. See, like I love the Talking Heads. I love Run the Jewels. I'm all over the place. But
what about the Goo Goo Dolls?
Oh, of course, Goo Goo Dolls. Yeah, I mean they would be my favorite Buffalo.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and they have a new song out, and it's very good and sing-alongable.
When's it? Is it already out?
Yeah, it's new, and it's like it's nice. It's John Resnick, the lead singer, has like he's a great songwriter, but it's different. It's good.
What's the name of the song? And I'll listen to it tonight.
Just go to your local streaming service.
Okay, will do.
But it's good.
Okay, deal. Let's see, and we've already talked about the Buffalo Bills, so this will be the last question. And I thank you again for coming over an hour. My name on my podcast originally was 30 Minutes Live with CDP, and then everyone's like, Chris, your podcasts are an hour and a half, so scrap the name. So I changed it. from 30 Minutes Live just to Live with CDP. Because,
Perfect.
yeah. So, and it's a good sign too. Obviously, if my podcast was bad, the guest wouldn't want to stay on 45 minutes to an hour. But if
No.
I ever have a guest that says they can only do 20 minutes, I work around it. That's
Aw.
how you do it. So I'm trying to do this without going to school for it. And I'm just trying to teach myself, learn as much as I can. And guys, like I said, a guest really makes a podcast show.
Oh, well, thank you for having me on. And I think the coolest thing about being a human sometimes is learning and continuing to learn. So the fact that
Yeah.
you're teaching yourself how to do this is pretty
Well,
spectacular.
and
Congratulations.
thanks. And a couple of my and the reason I'm 50 right now, but I like to prove that age is just a number. And um Vince Papale from the Eagles had a movie made about him. Invincible inspired me, and Rocky. I'm a huge Rocky movie fan, and Sylvester Stallone, and guys like that just motivate me. And when people tell me I can't do something, that just makes me even more motivated. I'm actually got a little chip on my shoulder like Tom Brady does. Even if you hate Tom Brady, being drafted 199 in the NFL draft still motivates him to this day. So for me, I'm just trying to prove that age is just a number. And a lot of the young people I've worked with have been really great with me, and they've treated me like one of their own. So I'm very lucky I can work with younger people or people that are my age or older.
Yeah. It's again, like we kind of talked about this earlier, but I think um it's nice to see people wanting other people to succeed. That's really helpful. And I think there's more people that are good than, that want to
Absolutely.
succeed than the other route.
Absolutely. And if I'm lucky enough to make it in the radio industry, I'm going to pay it back to
Aw.
somebody else. So
Well, good
that's
luck.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
So this is the last question. If you have 2 more minutes to answer this, do you have any advice for those looking to pursue a career in comedy or maybe do some in-arena host for a professional sports team? And where can my audience here find you on social media? And if you have a website or a YouTube channel?
Okay. So what would I say to people wanting to do comedy? Don't do it. No. If you are serious about it, it's a lot of work if you're going to do it well. I think some people see someone on Netflix or Hulu doing a special, probably more Netflix, and they're like, "Oh, I can do that," or "My friend says I'm funny." And I think it's a lot more than that. It's about it's writing and figuring out things, but practice. And I would always say, just write. And if you're gonna try it, go to an open mic. Don't bring any of your friends because you don't want people just to laugh at you because they're your friends. You want, unbiased laughter. The other thing was, in arena host. You know what? There's only 16 of me in the NLL, right? So we're gonna keep it that way. No, I mean, I think if people are probably in communications backgrounds, that's probably where you're gonna do that. I know the person who does it, the Sabres. Her background is she was a reporter. She was like a reporter for a local news station. So she has really great experience doing that. So if you're looking for in arena, maybe a background in communications. And then where to find me on social media. I saw the great tag underneath everything. So Twitter, Allie_Brady. I think Instagram is Allie Brady 13. And those are really the only 2 I use. I don't
Okay.
TikTok, but I think I'm too old for it. Like
Actually, I'm on TikTok. I went on it.
Cool.
I went on TikTok last August as a 40. I was 49 back then, and less than a year later, I have almost 900 followers,
Oh,
and
wow.
I have one TikTok video from Hamilton. I did a OHL game in Hamilton, 45,000 views. TikTok's amazing. You produce video content. Sometimes you think it's really good. Nobody watches it.
Yeah.
Then you do a video and you don't think much of it, and it goes viral. So I use TikTok just to promote myself, my podcast. Some of them use it for dating stuff and all that nonsense. But for me, I just use it strictly to promote myself, sell myself, my guests on my podcast. And then when I go on sporting events, I like to film stuff.
People use TikTok for dating?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Exhausting.
Yeah, so like I said, there's so many social media tools, but I'm using it for what I need to do to market myself, to get out there and the market and stuff like that. It's like any social media tool. It can be bad, but it also can be a good tool if it's used the right way.
Yeah.
So And I think that's about it. Like I said, I'm on live with CDP on TikTok. By the way, a little plug for myself as well. But now I got to ask you this before I let you go.
Yeah.
Number 13, is that your favorite number?
It is, and I am a sailor. I've been sailing for over 3 decades, and I race on a sailboat. So that was our. We had a boat before the one I have on now. I raced my dad, and that was our sail number. So it's my lucky number.
Okay, 13. My favorite number is 19.
Oh, look at us!
Number
That's
19.
numbers.
Yes. Hopefully, I will win the lottery one day.
Why not put it out there in the universe, right? Is it
definitely? But Allie, I'm going to let you go because I've probably kept you longer than I was supposed to. But I want to say thank you for coming on live with CDP Season 4, Episode 5. And if you can give me about maybe 20 minutes, I'll download this to audio and I will share it on Twitter, Facebook, on my LinkedIn page and everything like that. And I thought the show went really well, and I really appreciate you coming on.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. This was a blast. It's nice to talk sports and a bunch of sports. So this is great.
Okay, and an open invite to come back on in the future. And when next time I come to Buffalo, I'll let you know. And if you're performing, I'd like to come see you and the other comedians perform.
Oh, great! Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. Okay.
Thanks, Chris.
All right. Thanks, Allie. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon on social media.
All right. Continued success for you.
You too. Thanks, Allie. Good night.
Night.
Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed my podcast with Allie Brady. You guys can also follow Allie on Twitter at Allie_Brady. And also, guys, you can follow her on Instagram as well. She's also on LinkedIn as well, but I'll put on her Instagram page. You can follow her at Allie Brady 13 as well. And you can follow her on Twitter as well. Guys, just to let you know, my next Live with CDP podcast is going to be Wednesday, July 6th at 2 o'clock Eastern. John Urban, the online play-by-play announcer for the NBLC of Canada champion London Lightnings, will be on. And Thursday, July 7th at 7 p.m., Aaron Sanders, the online play-by-play announcer for the NBL's Windsor Express. So 2 more podcasts this week, guys. Tomorrow at 2 with John Urban from the London Lightning, and then Thursday at 7 o'clock, Aaron Sanders from the Windsor Express. So we're going to be talking some hoops with John and Aaron on Thursday as well. And this will be Aaron Sanders' 5th time coming on my podcast. And John, I had the pleasure of meeting him when London defeated Kitchener in June for the NBL championship at the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium as well. And also, guys, you can check out the Holiday Inn Express in Niagara Falls, New York on 1011 Niagara Falls Boulevard, 716-298-4500. It's the official hotel of Live with CDP, myself when visiting the Buffalo area, and it's only 15 minutes from downtown Buffalo as well. And also, guys, you guys can check out Are You Serious Tap and Grill on 130 Silver Creek Parkway North in Guelph. 519-766-0230, and it's the official pub of Bill's Mafia in Guelph as well. And guys, you can also check me out on wordpress.com/home/live with CDP podcast.wordpress.com. Again, that's wordpress.com/home/live with CDP.wordpress.com. I'm going to be doing a new blog as well this Sunday when I go to London as well. And also, guys, you can check out Live with CDP merchandise, podcast shirts. I'm getting redesigned, $15, coffee mugs, $15, and my new podcast hats, if you want one, are $18 as well. And also, since I was speaking to Allie about this, you guys can follow this old man on TikTok at Live with CDP. That's at Live with CDP. And I've got almost 900 followers. So if I can get another 109 followers, I can actually go live on TikTok as well. So I post a lot of content there with my interviews and my videos for my sporting events. So check me out on TikTok as well. And StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP podcast as well. And before we wrap this up, guys, I want to say thank you to everybody watching this live on my YouTube channel. Please subscribe and hit the like notification on my channel. And also thank you to on my Twitter page at Chris D. Palme as well. I'm at 899 followers, so I need one more for 900. Just to let you guys know, Live with CDP podcast, the audio version is downloaded to Google Podcasts Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Spotify, Castbox, and LinkedIn as well. And to wrap up the podcast, guys, just a couple of more quick notes here, guys. The TBL Finals Game 2, Shreveport Mavericks at the Albany Platoons tomorrow night, 7 o'clock in Albany. The Mavs are up 1-0 in the series, and it's a best of 3. So Albany needs to win, or Shreveport wins the TBL championship. Game 3 is Thursday at July 7th at 7 in Albany if necessary as well. And also, guys, the 2022 NHL draft is this Thursday at the Bell Center in Montreal. The Canadiens have the first pick in the draft, and the Red Wings are picking number 8. So that's about it, guys. Again, I want to say thank you so much to my guest, Allie Brady, for coming on live with CDP podcast tonight. Really enjoyed talking to her about her career as a stand-up comic, and also some Buffalo Bandits lacrosse as well. So again, guys, next live with CDP podcast is going to be tomorrow at 2 with John Urban, the online play-by-play announcer for the London Lightning. And then Thursday, July 7th at 7 o'clock, Aaron Sanders, the online play-by-play announcer for the NBL's Windsor Express as well. So again, thanks, Allie, for coming on, and everybody for watching live with CDP podcast on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And we'll see you guys tomorrow at 2 o'clock with John Urban for season 4, episode 6 of Live with CDP podcast. I hope you all have a great night, and we'll see you guys tomorrow at 2 o'clock for episode 6 of Live with CDP podcast. Good night, everybody.
Live with CDP, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast, live on YouTube, Facebook Live, Twitter, and on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, and Anchor FM. Now here's your host, Chris Palme.